guys, it's Dale. I am here to talk about Mother's Day and how much we love Mother's Day at VapeWild and love to support the mothers who vape. And today I have Crystal and Marissa, and I'm sure you know them. And this is Leah.
Hi.
And she is our mother of customer service, is what I'm going to say. And we're just going to talk about our kids. We're all moms, and we just want to send all of the love to the mothers that vape. Okay, so I have a little girl, and she's 5. She starts school in August, and I am nervous. But how many kids do you have, Crystal?
I have 2.
2.
And they are 14 and 16. I know I look so young, right? But they'll be 15 and 17 this year. So that's it. I'm not planning on having any more. I'm done.
Mm-hmm.
Factory closed down.
Ditto.
How many kids do you have, Miss
I
Leah?
have 3. I have a 13-year-old son, a 9-year-old daughter, and a 3-year-old little.
Oh, the
Surprise! Yes.
And what about your little, Marissa?
I have one daughter, and she's 3 years old and an absolute handful, just like her mother.
Mm-hmm.
I smoked cigarettes since I was 15, and I was 21 when I had my daughter, so you can do the math. And I started vaping because I didn't want my daughter to see me smoking, like I did my mother and my grandmother and my great-grandmother. I'll never forget that day that I was sitting on the patio with the door closed, and my daughter was maybe a year and a half, and she's beating on the window wanting me to come in. And I wanted to smoke my cigarette, and I had to tell her no. And that was one of the hardest things. And I woke up the next day, and I was like, this is over. I'm done.
I actually was a little hoodlum, and I started smoking before high school. I was in middle school and was taking cigarettes, and I smoked until I found out I was pregnant, and I stopped and did not ever touch them again. Vaping, I actually picked up working here. I wasn't even interested in smoking or anything, so I actually smoke with no nicotine. I just enjoyed the flavor and everything. It kind of gives me something to do, and it's kept me from going back to smoking cigarettes, which is awesome because being a single mom, stress is obviously bound to happen, and the urge to want to smoke a cigarette sometimes pops up, and I can throw some nicotine in my tank, and I'm good. It helps a lot.
Dope. Well, mine is kind of interesting. I'm 37. I'm not ashamed to say that.
You look great.
Thank you.
Beautiful.
And I actually started smoking literally when I was 12 years old. And my story it's kind of unique because I grew up, in a military family, on a military base, and overseas. So smoking back then in the early 90s was not really deeply frowned upon, you know what I mean, back then. So like literally at the middle school and high school, they cordoned off a smoking section for kids that smoked.
Even at the middle school?
What? Yes. I mean, there was like a huge bridge that went from the housing complex to where the schools were, because the middle school and the high school were right next to each other. And right when you stepped down, they had it fenced off, and that's where all the kids gathered and smoked. And all the cool kids were over there. So I just wanted to be like the cool kids. So my dad, at the time in the military, they gave like ration cards for cigarettes and coffee. So you could only get a certain amount every month. And my dad would use all his rations at once and just get 10 cartons of cigarettes, and he'd stack them up in his closet. So I would always sneak a pack out of the last carton in the back of the carton and take them and be like, yeah, I got my own pack of cigarettes, woo. And I smoked. And I remember the first couple of times, like, I would smoke and cough my head off because it was cigarettes. It was nasty. So I think it just became a habit. My dad smoked, and then my older brothers smoked. So I just picked it up, and it was a cool thing to do. Wasn't really, like a taboo type thing then, until I moved to the States and tried to buy my first pack of cigarettes at Pride Foods in Allen, Texas.
Wow.
Shout out to Pride.
But they shut that down.
They shut that down. They were like, yeah, we need to see your ID. And I whipped it out, bam, they were like, well, you're 15, so what are you doing? Like, you have to be 18. I was like, what? What are you talking about? No, you don't. Yes, you do. So I snuck them still, and I just kept smoking until I started working here. And Ozone actually gave me one of our Aspire little tester tanks that they used in R&D, and I kept it. He always would be short one tester, and I would always hide it at my desk because he always ate my food. So I figured
it's only fair.
Yeah, it's a fair exchange. And I took them and I started vaping, and I vaped Smurf Cake and fell in love, and the rest is history.
How long did you vape, Miss Leah?
Well, my story is really similar to Crystal's, really. I started when I was 13 smoking. You know, it was kind of a cool kids rebellious thing to do. Yeah, because in like in her day, you could smoke at high school. You couldn't be on property, but no one was going to, you just crossed the street and that's where you smoked. And so, yeah, it was, and so in middle school is really when I started. And there was also a little alley right off campus that all the freaks, you know, as they were the people that I ran with, you know, that's where we went and smoked things.
No.
And and so yeah, so it was an every now and then kind of thing, you know, through high school. But by the time, you know, I was well into my teens, it was an all the time thing, and I could buy them. I mean, I grew up in the era where you could, you know, where I was 8 years old going into 7-Eleven to buy cigarettes for my babysitter. You know, I mean, it was just not a thing at that point.
It's like the machines.
They did have the machines everywhere, but you know, at 7-Eleven, you could just, you know, I need a pack of Marlboro, whatever, you know, for my, you know, babysitter, and they would just go okay and give them to you.
Which is funny now, because like I walk in and they ID me and still think like my ID is fake, and I'm 24.
Right.
And they don't even want to give me cigarettes.
Oh, times they are a changing.
Yes.
And so, but yeah, so I've smoked since I was 13, and you know, as of New Year's Eve, that's when, you know, this took over full time, because I did both for a long
year?
while. Yes.
Oh,
Yes.
yay! I didn't know that.
Yes, thank you very much.
Yay.
I'm very happy about that. And, you know, the people I work with here have a gigantic influence on that, you know, definitely.
We love you.
So I love you too.
Is this going to turn into one of those?
It might.
It might.
If we start hugging and leaving.
So, what made you like quit smoking? What was the big thing that was like, okay, I need to stop?
Well, I had tried a number of times in the past and had some success with it, you know, just doing cold turkey, but life happens and stress builds, and, you know, yeah, then I break because, you know, I can be a weak person. But so this time it was my daughter, my 9-year-old daughter, Eva, who I love dearly, and she is a sensitive, sweet little soul.
She is.
And she really, every time that I would smoke, she would harass me about it, saying, Mom, that's going to kill you. And I, you know, with tears in her eyes at times, I don't want you to die. You know, and at one point, her dad told me about, you know, her riding in the car with them. They were listening to talk radio of some sort, and I'm not sure what the topic of the story was, but it had to do with the harmful effects of cigarettes. And he didn't know that she was even paying attention to this. And anyway, he turned around, and she's quietly crying in the back seat. And I'm sorry if tears do come, but they might. And he asked her what was wrong, and she was just bawling, I don't want Mama to die. And he shared that with me, and it just, for whatever reason, it was enough. And so, you know, I didn't quit at that moment because, you know, life. Yeah. But I did decide, you know, that this was going to be a New Year's resolution, and it's one that I've committed to. And it's I don't, you know, there are times that I miss it, but overall, no, you know, it's just a decision that I've made.
Yeah.
Sweet babies.
Yes, because I love my babies. I do. And I hate stinking. Because I would always wash my hands. I'd come inside after going outside to smoke, where my kids wanted to come hang out with me, but I'd be like trying to dodge the toddler, you know, because he'd be trying to scale me, and, you know, make sure the smoke was going this way, and, you know, all these things. And I just got really beyond tired of that, and tired of running in to change a shirt when they were infants, because I didn't want them inhaling particulates from my shirt and washing my out these things, you know, it's just enough.
Yeah, wow. Thank you for spending time with us and hearing our stories. We would love to hear your stories, and we just wanted to show some motherly love, kind of, and some support for our moms who are trying to start vaping, trying to get off the cigarettes and all of that good stuff. Just know VapeWild loves you. We have moms here.
Yes.
And yeah, we love you, and happy Mother's Day.
Happy Mother's
Day.
Don't give up. Don't give up.
Oh, yes.
Keep at it.
Don't
Keep
give
at
up.
it. Keep
That's the
vaping.
thing.
Join our group. If you have not joined our e-juice group on Facebook, please find us. Join our group. We would really love to have you. There's a great support system there.
You have Crystal and Marissa.
Yes.
We are great pep talkers. We're wonderful at this.
We are.
It's true.
We can be mean or we can be nice. However you want us to do it, just tell us.
All right. Happy Mother's Day.
Happy Mother's Day.